Alex Answer here, October 29th, 2013. This is a video, and I'm going to let you know right out of the gate. That's not about politics, religion. It's not even very philosophical, but it is about your health. It does relate to internal energy. It does relate to being balanced in times where things are intense, and in a way it relates to self-defense or martial arts, but it's not limited to that at all. I've talked a lot about being balanced, balancing and grounding out that energy when we go through these periods where we have an increase in solar flares, solar activity, when we have an increase in geomagnetic storms. We as human beings are directly impacted by such changes, and we need to remain balanced. And there's ways we can remain balanced by releasing that energy. Now, we have chakras in the hands, and we have chakras in the feet. It's not just limited to the 7 chakras most people are familiar with that practice yoga. So by being physically active, by moving the body around in circular ways, by working to become more relaxed, you can help that energy flow. So these exercises that we're going to get into relate to your internal energy. It doesn't relate to physical strength, although you might get a workout. The shoulder muscles may get a workout as you're getting used to doing this. But once you develop those muscles in your shoulders, it's really about the energy as you move your hands in a fluid, circular manner. Of course, this has nothing to do with being aggressive or warlike, although these circular movements come from many martial arts from the past, Tai Chi included, Aikido included, and several other arts. So I'm not going to give this a name. However, the person that did teach me this when I was 12 or 13, he learned this from his Aikido instructor in Portland in the 1970s. This particular person that taught me this and passed down other techniques to me that I've pondered for years of discussing on video for the purpose of self-defense, instruction, and health and wellness encouragement. And I'm not someone who is a master of any form of martial arts. However, I do feel, and I felt kind of an inclination, a yearning to pass on this technique, this exercise. After all, being healthy is a very important way to go about life in this particular day and age where there are so many toxins in the air, there's so many negative energies around you, and you need to have a strong spirit. When you have a strong body and you take care of your temple, you can also take care of your spirit, care for your spirit. And it goes back and forth, vice versa. By caring for your spirit, your spiritual force, your spiritual energy, your body, therefore, reaps the benefits as well. So this person taught me a few techniques when I was 12 or 13. And we went over a few things a few times, but it really wasn't a whole lot. I had to fill in the blanks for myself. These particular exercises I've never read in the Bruce Lee fighting method manual. You know, no MMA training video. And even in a lot of videos on Aikido, where they're showing complex rolls and throws and things of that nature, I've never actually seen the following exercise. So whatever style you may practice, if you do practice a style, whether it be boxing, whether it be jiu-jitsu, whether it be MMA, whether it be just training for street self-defense, or whether you simply enjoy the soft movements of Tai Chi, whether you're into the hard styles, or the soft styles, or the combination of the two, like Krav Maga, this particular exercise, I think, can do you good. And so with that, let's get started with where all of this begins. So we are talking about internal energy. We're not talking about your muscles or how hard you can grab something, how hard you can move to block something, karate style. We're talking about a soft, smooth deflection. So we're talking about something that's called circular motion. We see this in different styles, Krav Maga included, Wing Chun and some Gung Fu or Kung Fu styles, Aikido. And I would even include jiu-jitsu. I think that this particular exercise would be a great exercise for those practicing complex holds, maneuvers, throws, wrist wraps, things of that nature. And of course, there are certain exercises that I haven't done that I have seen others do in terms of Tai Chi. There's a sticky hand exercise, or Wing Chun rather. There's also another exercise where you're working to maintain balance, yet work around your opponent's center guard, and that is also a really good exercise to do. But what if you're just by yourself and you want to get started? The first thing you want to do is identify your center. This is your center, okay? Your center line. I'm not going to be able to do it perfectly for the camera, but this is my center. Now what you want to do is get used to rotating the wrist. Of course, then we'll get into the rest. And this is very important that you're able to do this, and I'm even feeling the energy with my middle finger. And I'm going to the inside. So we're warming this up, and you're getting used to the wrist. Of course, being flexible. We're not going to worry about footwork or moving, but think about being fluid. Then to the outside. In fact, I'll just go ahead and rotate. So now I'm just moving the wrist to the outside. Now I'm speeding it up just a little bit. It's kind of like a whirlpool, like a fan. Okay. Now I'm doing a little bit more because I'm utilizing the arm. So this is what it looks like without the wrist moving with it. Just a flexible, circular, right there. And then with the wrist, there we go. So let's go to the inside using the arm without moving the wrist. Now moving the wrist. Of course, over the years, the other hand I've put up here, I've left down here, and ultimately, whether I'm practicing a strike, I will practice from fighting position, and I will practice with my hands at my side. So just to let you know, sometimes you'll see the hand up here, sometimes it'll be down here. Because oftentimes, if you're going to defend yourselves, your hands aren't coming from up here, they're coming from down here. And also, when your hands are coming from down here, when you move up, it's going to be just a little bit of a surprise. So, train with your hands down here, as well as up here. So, once you start doing this enough times, you want to start practicing some of the exercises. And these aren't in any particular order. I just want to get the exercises out there. So starting with step 1, getting used to the wrist rotation to the outside and the inside on both sides. Sometimes do a center stance. Sometimes have the right foot forward. Sometimes have the left foot forward in order to maintain balance through this, no matter what your strong side is. Be you a standardized right-handed hitter, or be it you're a southpaw. And that's just to use martial arts as an analogy. This is not limited to self-defense. This is about energy movement. So with that, once you've done this to the outside and the inside on both, okay, great. The arm to the outside and the inside on both sides. Both sides. Then you incorporate the shoulder into this. And obviously a warm-up for the shoulder is this way, and you can even do a little of this, a little of that, if you want to warm up the shoulder. Not a bad idea. But this in and of itself is a warm-up for other things, which is why this makes a great warm-up for martial arts practice, whatever your style, be it hard, be it soft. So this is going to the outside with a little more shoulder, okay? Because this is for more of like a larger swing coming at you. A haymaker, if you will. A ridge hand. And over the hand, going for the gold, knock you fucking out blow. Excuse my language. Again, using a martial arts application. Example. To the outside, to the outside, to the outside. Catching that blow to the outside. Using a little bit more shoulder to catch it up. Doing this, of course, you want to snap that as fast as possible back to your ribs to protect it. You don't want to get into a habit of striking or defending and letting your ribs be exposed, moving your elbow too far away. But there's going to be situations where there might be a bat or something else, and you need to catch it. You need to catch it at a certain point. Now I'll get more detailed with some of this. Noticing I've got the torque thing going on. It's also happening with my waist. When I'm moving in to anticipate a strike at the weak part, perhaps here, so I can redirect it, I'm going to be coming in this way. So I'm not just simply locking with the arm, I'm twisting the waist, the wrist as well, in particular the wrist and the waist. So it has a little bit of power behind it. So now you're starting to maybe get the concept of this back and forth, which we'll do next, circular motion exercise. So going from this to getting larger to using the shoulder. Now we'll go back the other way. A little bit larger, the shoulder. See the elbows moving, and then it comes back to center. Then, with one hand, this particular exercise is just one hand going back and forth. Just as an exercise. So we're back to this, but we're going back and forth. Back and forth. It'd be great to have a partner to do this video with. I gotta work with what I've got. So take your time. Rest when you need to. Remember, this is about internal energy. This is not about muscular force. So once you get comfortable with back and forth, to the outside, to the inside, small circle, large circle, then it's double hand. I almost call this the windshield wiper effect. Works like this. This is also something that could be offensive. Again, to use martial arts as an analogy, although it's not limited to that. But it's also blossoming of your energy like a flower. And Tai Chi has some of these movements that are very beautiful. And the movements of Tai Chi and these movements are identical. Except for the fact that Tai Chi is a form. It's a set form. I learned one form of Tai Chi when I was 15. And it really helps you focus your energy, calm your energy, especially when you're Tai Chi walking. That is a discipline in and of itself. I haven't Tai Chi walked for years. I should probably watch some videos on YouTube and get caught up, get a refresher course on that. But this is almost like doing these things, almost like Tai Chi walking for the hands. Solo, of course, without a partner. So once you've gotten to this point where you're able to do this fluidly, and your hands are positioned in the right place, and your elbow is protecting your ribs, for the most part, the windshield wiper is back and forth. And there's a place you can start. And this also dovetails to the chi ball exercise. And I'm doing this a little higher than I normally would so it appears on camera. Otherwise, it would probably be about like this. Remember we went over this? Went over that, okay? Now we're going here. Now we're opening the ball, okay? Now, you might even allow yourself to move in position. Let your waist move every now and then. Let me slow this down, show you what I'm doing. So the left hand is obviously going out, and the right is going to the inside. Now the right hand is going to go to the outside, and the left one follows. Back and forth. Small circle. Now, if you have a pair of nunchucks, here's a practice for you, practice exercise. Take those nunchucks and you flip them around, and you rotate those sticks. Same concept. Okay, next exercise. This one is similar, but you're putting a little bit more focus. This is a martial arts application. The blocking and doing a double block. So you're flowing, and of course with the waist following, which gives this parry and deflection even more power, even though you're mostly using internal energy. It gives it that extra oomph. Deflect, waist twist, right one behind it. And once we get into striking, of course I don't want to do that in this video because it's more about moving the body's energy than striking. But striking, of course, releases the energy as well. So in this exercise, I'll do it from this angle. Almost moving in towards what's coming in. Double deflect. Elbow, backhand, elbow, backhand, elbow. So it looks a little like it's just moving in, catching it, elbow, backhand, elbow, backhand. So by that exercise of focus on where you're striking. But now let's just go back to the circular motion. Striking aside. You are moving a lot of energy by this very act of coming up the center line. And then doing it again back this way. Even if you were to move your hands this way. Very, very powerful exercises for getting that energy moving throughout the body. So we've gone over small circle to the outside and to the inside. We've gone over the windshield wiper. We've gone over to the side. Now we'll cover the other exercises that kind of complete some of this. Going to the outside with both hands. And this is, to use a martial arts analogy, this is a great defense for a double roundhouse. Or even just a double straight. Okay. And it's, of course, from the center. You want to get your muscles conditioned to this type of body movement. You'll notice after doing this the first few times, if you've never moved like this, you might be a little bit sore. Once those muscles develop, they won't have to get very large before they're able to do this type of movement for long periods of time. Same thing goes for striking. So, to the outside, to the inside, small circle, large circle. Fluid, hard. Boxing, MMA, hard. See that common theme there, countering? You've seen it before. But what am I doing? All I'm doing is an exercise that relates to those basic, quick movements of self-defense. I go back and forth, I change it up. I try not to move like a robot. I try to keep just moving around. Change position, change stance, rotate, circle, circle, back to center. Just keep moving, flow with it. Don't move like a moose. All right. So obviously the next one is not to the outside, it's to the inside. That helps me release the energy by just allowing my body to go the rate that it wants. And I throw in strikes in between the movements, which is for another video. To the inside. To the inside. Thinking about catching that knee strike. Thinking about catching that front kick, taking that person off their feet. Thinking about just releasing the energy. So, from the outside and to the inside. All right. Now, this is another exercise that you could do at the beginning. Again, these aren't set in stone. And I learned a lot of this just by practice. I was only taught the basics. Once I saw this similarity in circular movement throughout martial arts as a youngster, when I used to collect lots of books on the subject before I sold them all and got involved in other things, I remember the similarities in the movements, in particular defense and offense. And so that's why I think these exercises can help anyone get better at what they're doing in terms of being a martial artist, or even if you're a Qigong practitioner, even if you are a practitioner of Reiki and you deal with energy and you're a healer. These exercises I think are excellent for those that are healers, that use their hands to heal, those that are involved in hands-on healing, especially when you train without anger or fear, when you train with love and you let the energy out as you move, and you let the energy just spiral out and shoot out through your hands, and you feel it go up through your chakras. You know, take a detour at your throat chakra and go. That's what this is all about, and that strengthens the aura, that strengthens the heart, that strengthens the spirit. So let's cover these last two exercises, and then we'll do a brief review, and we'll go from there, and we'll end this hopefully in 30 minutes. Okay, the double circle, as I said before, you can do this at the beginning. Something simple. It's just the circle. Of course, it's a great warm-up for the shoulders. Now we're to the inside. You can even cross your hands a little bit. To the outside. To the inside. Again, being flexible. And even, you know, I've seen books and manuals where this guy is just moving everywhere, and it's just one big circular. He's even got circular things going on with his legs. Not going to get that advanced. So, going at it from the top, we went over basic circular motion, which you can see in Aikido, other Eastern arts. You can see it in Gung Fu or Kung Fu, this basic idea of a center line. And moving to the outside, moving to the inside. Different blocks, martial arts, to the side, down, block that kick, up. You know, karate would be classical. But we're going for a, you know, it goes up if it needs to, comes right back down. That's the martial arts application of this. So, we went over the double. Slow it down. Don't be a robot. Listen to some music while you train. Train on a full stomach. Train on an empty stomach. This is not about muscle. This is about moving the energy through the arm, through the shoulder, through the palm. Rotating around. Okay. And the double, the double roundhouse. someone's coming at you. What? Yeah, whoa. Yeah. One time, I actually did, and this was not even done consciously. I responded to a double roundhouse attack with that same technique, and unconsciously, my hands continued the movement, and I ended up with the guy's arms locked. And then from that point, foot behind foot, takedown, and a couple controlled backhand strikes. So this was 2 years ago. We're outside the Portland Preparedness Center. Not really something that I'm proud of. When I dealt with that obnoxious drunk that wanted to fuck with me because he saw me talking about 9/11 on TV and thought he'd walk into the store I was managing at the time. And it was really quick, from pushing him out to catching him, wrapping it, because you want to practice so these things are automatic. But as I said more than once, it's not about aggression, it's not about violence, it's about getting the energy moving. It just so happens that I believe, from everything that I've seen since I've been on this earth, that these are great exercises to get the energy flowing, to get it moving. It can complement what you're doing with Aikido practice, Kempo Karate, Jiu-Jitsu, MMA, Jeet Kune Do. But this particular technique was taught to me by a friend of the family. I haven't seen anyone on YouTube go down the level of how this works. And then from there, incorporating your strikes into this. So hopefully, I got you thinking about health, self-defense, internal energy, releasing that excess surge of energy you might be feeling a whole different way.